For the first time, a serving American official confirms that the United States had attempts to take down the Iranian regime twice, not once. The recent interview of Tom Barak, the ambassador of the United States to Turkey and also the envoy to Syria and Lebanon, he mentioned that the United States had two regime change attempts, but he also mentioned something more dangerous to do with certain phases. In that interview, he was saying that the regime changes don't usually work and we need to let the people of the region, listen to that, do what they want, essentially. But that Israel had 5 phases against Iran and there are 5 phases remaining. What does he mean by 5 phases remaining? And is the United States going to take place or take part in what Israel is going to do? The first thing that's worth mentioning is that Tom Barak pretends like he cares about the people of the region apart from Israel. Even when he was talking about Lebanon, he previously said that Israel doesn't help by constantly attacking other countries 24/7 when we're trying to reach certain solutions. Multiple American officials had similar criticism to Israel in relation to Syria and other countries too. But at the end of the day, they constantly support Israel with whatever it wants. But what is it about this 5-phase thing and 5 phases remaining? What are we talking about exactly? Tom Barak is revealing that Israel didn't finish the job with Iran. And that's just one step away from confirming that Israel is going to have another war with Iran. The United States, led by Donald Trump now, who's pretending to be the peacemaker. Don't forget how many times he promised that he's going to end every war. He now even claims that he ended 7 wars. He says that there's peace in Gaza. But now Tom Barak is saying that there are 5 phases remaining, which is essentially what, well, some of us have been speaking about, the potential of a second war breaking out between Israel and Iran, that the United States is likely to back. Let's not forget that the United States has been, well, multiple officials in the United States have been calling for action to be taken against Iran for the sake of Israel. This is Netanyahu's biggest dreams, to have a war against Iran that the United States would fully participate in. And Iran recently finished one of its biggest drills with a barrage of missiles. They finished the final phase of the power naval exercises with the IRGC. They're preparing very well with multiple threats, underlying threats issued against none other than the UAE. The UAE has been playing a role that is totally aligned with Israel and its ambitions in the region. There was a recent statement made by Wilayati from Iran who said that the Iranian people's patience is not limitless. The UAE has been speaking about certain islands that they claim belong to the UAE. Iran, from its perspective, they said that these always belonged to Iran, even before the establishment of the UAE. But the UAE is trying to take more action and cause more friction against Iran. We know what they're up to in Sudan. They previously participated with Saudi Arabia and Yemen, and now they have clashes in certain areas that they both attacked. But now Iran is saying that they're also playing a role in these islands and that they're going to escalate, but that Iran isn't necessarily going to be patient forever. The Iranian people, they have limit to their patience. So what is exactly happening here? The United States and Israel, and this was one of the recent drills that were conducted by Iran. They had a Navy drill and they also had an air defense and a drone drill where they practiced launching new drones. They also revealed a new drone, suicide drone, clearly indicating that they're preparing for something big. And Israel was also saying that multiple sources in Israel said that it's inevitable that they're going to have another war with Iran. So we have a game here being played, really and truly. Donald Trump, who is very influenced, to say the least, by Israel, is pretending to be a man who wants to have peace in the region. But on the other hand, what he's doing is completely supporting Israel in its ambitions, both in Gaza and also in the region as well. Even with that attack that the United States carried out against Iran, when Israel attacked Iran in the 12-day war, clearly indicates that the man is very heavily influenced by Benjamin Netanyahu. He's reportedly going to have his 5th visit in the United States very soon. 5 visits in 1 year. Can you imagine that? 5 visits in 1 year. The man who visited, the state leader who visited the American president the most since he came to office. Why? It's because of the level of influence that he has on Donald Trump. Whether Donald Trump would like to portray it as, mutual relationship, no, it's far from that. Benjamin Netanyahu has a lot of influence on Donald Trump. And now reached a level where he is outright challenging the mayor of New York by saying that he's going to visit New York. Zohran Mamdani said that he will arrest Netanyahu if he comes to New York. But recently, he appointed the same head of the police over there, who is a very well-known Zionist. And if he wants to enforce anything to do with Benjamin Netanyahu, that's not necessarily going to work, is it? But still, it shows you the level of audacity that Benjamin Netanyahu has. Do you remember that Congress speech he had during Obama's period as president? He went there against Obama's will, with criticism, relying on the Republican support. And now as well, he knows that the Zionist lobby is still controlling the United States fully, even with all of this talk and what's being labeled as a civil war happening in the Republican Party or on the conservative side in the United States, to do with Israel and its influence and everything related to the Epstein files and all of the Zionist politicians in the United States of America. That all proves that if Netanyahu really wants to go on an all-out war against Iran, Donald Trump will most likely drag the United States for a war with Iran against the will of the American people. So it doesn't matter if Americans think that they shouldn't be participating in a war or not. And they wouldn't be able to do anything, like they didn't do anything when the war in Iraq happened. Millions of people in the streets, they didn't stop the war. So it's not that like they can't. There are levels to, of course, civil protest or civilian disobedience, for example. But Donald Trump has the capacity to do that, and he can take the United States to a full-scale war with Iran against the will of the American people, although what we're hearing now 24/7 in the United States is related to Israel. The main thing that Americans are talking about today is Israel. How much they have influence, how much they control the media, how much they control the politicians, too much power, criticizing Donald Trump, ridiculing what's called the MAGA, calling it MEGA, make Israel great again. But Donald Trump, well, with this recent statement that came from Tom Barrack to saying that they have 5 more phases, although again, he's trying to play a game here by saying, oh yeah, regime changes don't work. So people can think, oh yeah, you know what? They're not actually going to try for regime change. They tried for regime change, and they are planning for regime change. when they participated, when Israel started to attack Iran, Donald Trump, the same man who was pretending to be negotiating and actively sending people to negotiate, immediately backed Benjamin Netanyahu. And what did he ask? He asked Iran to surrender. What is that? That's a regime change attempt. And they had the candidate in America. They were preparing him. The son of the Shah, the Zionist son of the Shah. Both Netanyahu and Donald Trump were preparing him. That means that Tom Barrack is lying when it comes to the regime change and the fact that, oh no, we're going to leave it to the people of the region. If you wanted to leave it to the people of the region, then why do you support a neo-colonialist entity based on supremacy committing a genocide if you wanted to leave it to the will of the people in the region? But again, that's another attempt from the United States officials to make the people feel like, oh yeah, we're on your side, you know, we're not necessarily with Israel, with everything. And, you know, we're trying our best here. But, you know, this Netanyahu, he's the problematic one. It's not his country. You know, we can live with them. You can live with them too. Maybe expand the Abraham Accords and have peace with them. If not, they might kill more of your people. But hey, that's them, you know, you can forgive them. And if they do attack you, don't attack them back, because it's not nice of you to do that. I mean, it wouldn't be really kind. That's what they were telling Iran. European leaders and officials from the United States, after Israel went and waged an aggressive war against Iran, they started to tell Iran, oh, don't escalate. Do not escalate. Escalate what? You've been supporting a country that only escalates. Escalates against everyone, against the whole world. And you're telling the people who get attacked, do not escalate? What kind of logic does that make exactly? It's a game that they're playing. It's a game. Throwing sand in the eyes of the people, blatantly. But thankfully, even when they're trying to deceive you, they'll have certain elements of truth. And those 5 phases remaining, as Tom Barrack confirmed, are very likely to be the phases where Israel would wage another war against Iran, and most likely drag the United States of America with it.